Hi, welcome to this sort of evening science on chilies. So what I've been doing this evening is actually preparing some chilies. In fact, I've been measuring their Scoville Heat Units on the food sense generation 4, which is sometimes called online the Scoville meter. So I have been blending and using the mortar and pestle to kind of prepare this sample. And when I say this sample, I've got a sort of a representative of the samples here, and I'll talk about their preparation and their testing now. So that said, let me go forward. So it's not all talk. There's actually going to be some testing on the food sense generation 4 very shortly, otherwise known as the Scoville meter rather, and we'll be looking for the Scoville Heat Units. I'm not going to talk too much about the science of what we're doing. I'm really going to talk about sample prep, in particular sample prep of chilies this evening. But if you are more interested in the science as well of this, then we do a webinar every month. The next one will be on the 24th of October. As of recording this, and that's about 3 days out from now. But even if you're watching this a year later, just click these links underneath the video and it should take you to the next one in the series. By the way, we do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, just to cover the various time zones. Those webinars and demonstrations actually go out live. So as I say, I've got some chilies in front of me now. I have been preparing them this evening, so I prepared them by, and I deliberately used only a home grade food blender or food chopper. The reason I only used that is because I wanted to kind of keep the cost out of the, let's say the assay, so we only used something that was, available, but I think I bought it off Amazon, so nothing sort of super scientific or super industrial, but it got good reviews, and I use that to chop. Now it only chops it really into kind of millimeter sized pieces. I did make a slight mistake, so I realized I put the stalks in there, so I think that's definitely going to dilute my sample. That was a slight accident, but it doesn't stop the overall trend of what I'm trying to explain this evening. Just FYI, seeds have a reputation for not containing capsaicin. It's actually mostly in what's called the placenta. Now I'm going to be doing some different videos actually where I'm going to dissect some chilies and actually start testing this out a little bit more formally, because it's all anecdotal, I think. I don't think anyone's really, for a few years, tested, where the capsaicin is. I can understand why it's not in the seeds, and it's got a reputation for being in the placenta, but actually, how many videos online are there really on this? So the quick answer is not many, if any. And actually, we'll make some videos about that. I'll do a dissection on a chili and we'll test different parts of the chili and work out where the capsaicin really is. With that said, I've made a mistake. I've blended the entire chili up, including stalks, but nevertheless, I want to just show the general workflow. I did put this in a mortar and pestle and sort of grind this up a bit more. I didn't put too much effort into that because I really didn't think I was actually getting much sort of return on my physical effort on that. The seeds are pretty tough. They're not gonna break up. Maybe I was sort of crushing the peppers a little bit more and maybe releasing some more oils. But that's what I did. And the reason I mention it is because if you're going to repeat what I'm doing, then you want to sort of know the steps that I actually took. I weighed out 0.01 grams, and I diluted it with I weighed out 0.1 grams and diluted it in 0.9 milliliters of buffer. So I've effectively taken one mass of the chilies and diluted it with 9 volumes of the buffer. So that's 0.1 grams into 0.99. 0.9. I'm so sorry about the numbers. I'm a little bit tired. 0.1 grams into 0.9 mils of buffer. So that's a dilution of 1 to 10. You'll see in a bit that the app actually asks you what that dilution is. Now, I'm not going to talk about the science of this tonight, but actually I know that 1 in 10 is not diluted enough, but the app is smart and it will tell me that. So as I say, I took, and I'm sorry about repeating myself, I just make sure I say it properly, 0.1 grams into 0.9 mils of buffer, which I did, and I created this sample here. I knew this would contain too much capsaicin to test, but I vortexed it. The vortexer, again, I got this one off Amazon. It's not super expensive. I'm sort of using materials other than the Food Sense Generation 4, which is not available on Amazon. I'm using materials. I'm going to start coughing, by the way, because there's a lot of capsaicin in the atmosphere here. But I used that because I also got that vortexer off Amazon as well. So I vortexed it quickly to kind of help with the extraction of capsaicin. There's no way you're going to shake it as much as a vortexer is capable of doing it. I then tested that sample. This is really important. People say, well, how do you know how much dilution to do? The app will tell you. This is the app. In fact, I haven't even discussed where you can get this app, but you can get this app actually off. It's called Sense It All, and you can get it off the Play Store, or you can get it off the App Store if you've got an iPhone. But it does say upload complete, too high, dilute more, which is fine. So this is my judgment. If you are a quality manager or you're going to use this in a food production system, you've got to realize that when I took one, let's say, volume of this, which is 0.1 milliliters, and further diluted it with 0.9 milliliters of the buffer. So I took the 1 in 10 dilution, which was basically too concentrated, and I know it's too concentrated because the app tells you. People do ask me, well, how do you know? Well, the app will tell you if it's too concentrated. It told me it's too concentrated, told me to upload complete. It says too high, dilute more. So I actually took the 1 in 10 sample, and I took one volume of it and I further diluted it with another 9 volumes of buffer. So effectively now I've gone from 1 in 10 dilution to 1 in 100 dilution. And that is actually what is sitting on the sensor at the moment. I'm going to do a test in a minute, but I just want to kind of give you a sense that when it says upload complete, it actually sent the data to the cloud. And actually, when I look in the cloud, I can see the raw signal. I can see this sort of flat line here. It tells me that this is too concentrated. It's flatlined the machine. And the app knows this. It's smart, and it's told me to dilute more, which I've actually done. So my next slide says demo here. So what I'm going to now do is think very loud, think quickly, and actually go to my external camera. All right, so I'll put a fresh sensor on here. The reason I'm talking aloud is just to remember what to do. And I'm going to take a fresh chili sensor, and I will put my fresh chili sensor on here. I will bring my app into shot. My app is set up. I'm quite happy with that. I will grab my sample, which I will now do. And I'm going to take 50 microliters of this sample, which is a 1 in 100 dilution. And I'm going to put it on the sensor like this. And I'm going to hit continue. And I'm going to go, this is a 1 in 100 dilution, which I've just done. So it says 100 there. I'll go start measurement, and off it goes. So in summary, I've got some chilies. I've blended them up. I've taken, and I've mortar and pestled it as well, if that's such a thing. I've ground them up, broke them up a bit, and I've taken 0.1 grams of that and diluted it in 0.9 mils of buffer. But that was not sufficient in order to be, and the app said, no, this is too concentrated, dilute more. And then it said, upload complete as well. So then I took a one volume of that 1 in 10 and further diluted it with 9 volumes of buffer, and actually brought myself to a 1 in 100 dilution. And then I tested it. Now this is what I call I should have vortexed this. This is what I call a wet sample. Often when people are reporting the hotness of products, they're often actually reporting dry Scoville Heat Unit. So just know the difference between wet and dry, but this is a kind of very wet sample. And I've also included, when testing this, all the seeds, etc. So you've got to think about the kind of dilution. So it's come back with a result of 2700. What I want to do now is just show you something on my computer, which I will share my screen now, which I will do. So let me just go to here. And what I'm doing here is, this is the result. So I can actually see the result up here in the internet. like I say, on the internet, we've got a cloud system, so we not only get the result on the phone, the result is also saved in the cloud. The result, the time and date is all saved up in the cloud as well, and also the raw signal is also saved in the cloud as well. So I can see what's called peak 1, peak 2, and peak 3 for capsaicin. As I say, when we do our webinars, when we do our webinars, we'll actually dive into the meaning of this in more detail then. So I think I'll probably just finish off with a last slide and say, so that was a sort of live measurement on a 1 in 100 dilution. And I think if you've got any questions, it doesn't take me that long to actually prepare this sample. I've only started, not so long ago and prepared the sample, did the extraction, did the dilution, did a further dilution, and then tested. And so if you've got any questions about how to test whole chilies, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And as I say, I'm going to do some videos when actually I start dissecting chilies and actually pulling out the different components of chilies and actually testing them to sort of confirm where the capsaicin is really, let's say, held in those chilies. Okay, got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thanks very much.